Wally here, and I hope you're having a good day, because today I'm going to talk to you about another game from my collection and share some stories about this game, why I have it, how I got it, and all that jazz. And today I'm going to talk about Capcom Vs SNK 2 EO for Nintendo GameCube, made by Capcom, rated T15. This was a blast to play with my brothers and friends in my childhood, or my teenage years, I should say, when I was in high school. And I have fun stories about this, so let's jump in. There's a couple different things I want to talk about. Let's start with why I like fighting games. My older brother, he was really into fighting games ever since they existed. He was the one going into arcades, playing Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Killer Instinct, all those fighting games of that era and more. And so that translated into bringing those types of games into our household when we would rent them from our local Hollywood Video and play on our Super Nintendo, our SNES. So we grew up with series like Fatal Fury and Street Fighter, and so the characters that are in this game come from both of those properties and more. And so it was just a natural transition as we got into the GameCube era and the PS2 era, in which this game would be on my radar, because I played these games with my brother, getting beat by him for years, because he always loved the competitive style of these types of games. And so I love the characters personally. I just love seeing these flashy, different gals and guys duking it out, doing special moves. It's very cool to watch. So when my brother bought a PS2, he of course bought Capcom Vs SNK 2 and got a lot of play out of that. But when I bought my GameCube, I was looking for a game like that to fill the fighting game itch. I mean, there was some games on GameCube, like Bloody Roar, some fighting games I should say, and Smash Brothers and Melee, but nothing like this 2D fighting game that was really good. So I remember this releasing on launch day, whenever it did in the early 2000s, and I used to work at a buffet, so I got all these tips. And after work, my brother and I went to our local Best Buy, and I remember grabbing this, snagging this, going to the line, and then I paid, because this was $39.99 USD, so I paid with taxes like $44. So I remember going into my pockets where I had all my tips, fresh off of work, and just paying with 44 $1 bills. I know the cashier, might have been mad at me, but he laughed and went, "Oh man." I'm like, "Yeah, just came from work," and paying $1, $2, $3, all up to 44, grabbing this, and then going home and just playing this, like crazy, and enjoying all the cast of characters that I knew and I didn't know from other series from the Capcom SNK universe. I think the standouts is just having this game on a Nintendo console at that time, because coming from Nintendo 64, where there wasn't a lot of 2D fighting games, especially 2D graphically, seeing this back on a Nintendo platform on GameCube was a blast. And we had a lot of blasts. We had a lot of Saturday night fighting sessions where a friend of the family, he came over to play my younger brother, and this is probably the best story, the best moment of this game ever. My younger brother, he is so strong, and he didn't want to give up, and he's a few years younger than me, and so our friend, he came over, and he's just like a fighting game genius, and they're going at it, my younger brother and the friend of the family, and they're just fighting and fighting and fighting, and long story short, my younger brother got beat and beat and beat. One round, one match, 2 matches, 10 matches, 20 matches, 30 matches, 40 matches. I think it finally topped out around 52 to 57 matches in a row, where my younger brother, was just getting so beat, but he would not give up. And, he was young and like little tears around his eyes. And it was just one of the heart-wrenching moments, but looking back on it, just a good story from my youth, where a friend of the family came over and my younger brother just would not give up, even after 52 losses. Much respect to my younger brother for hanging in there and trying his best. So that is one of my favorite stories from there. I always found it was weird, playing on the GameCube controller though, because how the button layout was, and the GameCube controller was great for a lot of genres, but the small D-pad, directional pad, and The button placement made it a little odd, but I got used to it. But I also bought a PS2 adapter for GameCube so I can hook up my older brother's PS2 controllers to the GameCube. And then now, you know, technology has advanced where I could pretty much use any controller to play this if I wanted to. But this is just a nice game to have. You know, there was a time where I got rid of a lot of my games, and so this is not my original copy. I rebought this on eBay, you know, a year or two back, but I wanted to play this again. And I've been enjoying it just here and there, just playing 10-20 minutes, going through arcade mode, you know, doing what I can and just enjoying this. So I have had a lot of blast playing Capcom Vs SNK 2 EO for the Nintendo GameCube. It's a game that I will hold on to for probably the rest of my life. I hope to see it make a return in some form, maybe in a Capcom Vs SNK collection. Please, Capcom or SNK, do that. Or even a remaster or whatever they want to call them nowadays. But this has just been a short story of another game from my collection. Let me know in the comments if you've ever played any Capcom Vs SNK game, 1 or 2, EO or the standard one, in arcades or at home. I would love to hear your stories if you have any cool stories, kind of like how my brother just wouldn't give up. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me ramble, and I'll see you in the next video.